I'm so grateful to be here to share a bit of my story with you all as we conclude this Gather series on belonging. So, as Dr. Erickson said, my name is Aracely Diaz, and I have the privilege of learning alongside the amazing and incredible fourth graders here at PBS. I like to tell my fourth graders often that teachers are people too. And with that, we come with interests, stories, lived experiences, and hobbies. One of my favorite hobbies is cooking and baking. And as you can see, I love food. Now, you must be wondering, what does cooking and baking have to do with belonging? And I'm so glad you asked. You see, I see belonging like a recipe. So last Monday, Dr. Erickson shared his recipe for belonging. A sprinkle of respect, a pinch of forgiveness, and a cupful of be a blessing. Miss Armashevitz and Lexi Hotai also shared theirs. A dash of care, some problem solving, and handful of create something. Now, I see these recipes of belonging just like I see those recipes for cookies. There's 1,000 different ways to make a chocolate chip cookie. No one recipe is more or less right than the other. Some share similar ingredients in different quantities, making each cookie unique. Some cookies are flatter, some are crunchier, and some are even gooey and chewy. And just like each recipe honors the uniqueness of the type of cookie it is making, our recipes for belonging also honor our unique experiences. So today, I'm going to share with you Miss Diaz's secret ingredients to add to our existing recipes of belonging. So one of Miss Armashevitz's ingredients for belonging was to create something together. Among the things we are creating, I say, create safe spaces. When I think of belonging, I think of spaces where you can bring yourself and feel safe enough to be your authentic self. So take me, for example. My first name can be quite challenging for some people to say. And I know I've entered a safe space when I feel comfortable enough to introduce myself as Aracely. Because my name can be challenging, I also know that I have to help create a safe space for someone to feel comfortable enough to take the risk to say my name, which also means that they feel safe enough to make a mistake. As we create these safe spaces for mistakes, ideally, they'd feel safe to honor our unique stories, our opinions, and our preferences. So, although it may not be explicitly stated, every time a community member tries to say my name, Aracely, we create a safe space for mistakes together, and one that honors my unique story as a child of immigrants from Mexico. Those are my parents. So, because safe spaces are filled with mistakes, that's what makes them safe, we need to add an ingredient for when those mistakes happen. And that's when we bring in Dr. Erickson's ingredient of forgiveness. And we add to it, get curious. How, you ask? Well, when an oops happens, take a deep breath and say, tell me more. Your teachers say this all the time, and now you can too. So let's try this together. Say, tell me more. By doing this, you give your community members the space to share their story, and you're giving yourself the opportunity for empathy and understanding. So, the next time you hear that a friend says that they don't like dogs, and you happen to be the biggest dog lover ever, and you feel yourself start to rise into the red zone of the mood meter, pause, take a deep breath, and say, tell me more. And you may find out that your friend doesn't like dogs because they've had an experience that's made them really scared. And so now, after you've gotten curious and you've said, tell me more, you have a deeper understanding for their story. And hopefully, you've made it out of the red zone of the mood meter too. So these spaces that we have for belonging celebrate and honor our differences and are safe for mistakes. And because of that, they can sometimes feel a little bit tricky. So for that, I remind you of Dr. Erickson's ingredient, respect. And I share with you my final secret sprinkle. Now, This sprinkle is a question. And you could noodle it over what your answer is in your head as I ask it. So when you're thinking about respect and how you extend it, ask yourself, what are your values? Here at PBS, we have 4 that you can use as a foundation. We have kindness, courage, I hear it out there already, community, ta-da. Yep, you got it, and love of learning. So when things get tricky, ask yourself, how are you upholding these values to create a safe space? How are you getting curious? How are you holding these values to respect others as they share their unique and authentic selves? And also remember to ask yourself, how are you upholding your values for yourself too? Because creating a sense of belonging is not only for others, but it's also to find a space for yourself. So, as you grow older, I hope that you find all the ingredients that you need to make your own unique recipe for belonging. And I also hope that it comes with treats too. Thank you.